The year is 2020, the COVID pandemic shutting the world down, but inside one home there was a dream brewing day and night. A little light flickering for dear life. A young woman named Aisha Yusuf wrote a novel called Race to the Finish Line. When it was time for her to publish her book, to her dismay, she encountered rejection after rejection after rejection. You know what? Let's hear from Aisha and her story. Okay, let's go find her.
Hi! Welcome. Come on in.
We found her.
Come on in.
Thank you. So Aisha, are you ready for this interview?
Yes, I am. I'm a little bit nervous, but I feel like I'm getting into the zone.
Guys, so what happened to the setup?
So I started writing my book about 10 years ago. When I was 15 years old, you can do the math of how old I am right now. But I started writing this book when I was in high school, and the reason was because I was somebody who was very much into reading. I love literature, and reading was my favorite form of entertainment. However, as I got older, I realized that I wasn't represented in any of the books that I was reading, and that really destroyed my love for reading, and I completely abandoned it altogether by the time I got into high school. And every time that I tried to reignite that fire and I read a book, I remember why I stopped reading in the first place. And I just didn't find that joy that I used to have when it came to reading. I got to an age where I said, why am I not represented in any of the things that I'm reading? And if I am, why am I always represented as a terrorist or a girl who hates her religion that wants to take off her hijab and run away? That was my narrative, that was my story. So one day, as I was complaining, I came across a quote by Toni Morrison that said, if there's a book that you want to read, but it hasn't been written yet, then you must be the one to write it. And that really inspired me and made me realize I have to take matters into my own hand. And if there is a book that I want to read, I must be the one to write it. I set out to write the book that I've always wanted to read, and that is how my journey of writing this book started. Yeah, so that was a process. You know, it was a very long process, and even though it was a while ago, I still remember it clear as day. And I even memorized the emails. Like I can actually read it out to you verbatim. That is how much I don't want to say it got to me, but it really imprinted itself. It's a memory that imprinted itself. And so when I finished this book, it was an on and off process, right? I started when I was in high school. I didn't finish it when I was in high school. I completely forgot about it. And only when I was in university did I pick it back up again, but it was an accident. You know, one day I was trying to write an essay, and I am an extreme procrastinator. I will do anything. I'm the type of person who writes the essay an hour beforehand. And those were the best essays, by the way. If I plan, anyways, that's not important. But I was going through my Google Drive just to, you know, I needed something to do. Like, something to do before I needed to inspire myself. Why was I going through my Google Drive? I don't know. But one day I came across that document, and it was like 15,000 words. And I'm like, who put this here? Because I was struggling with writing a 2,000 word essay. And that was my entire university life. Like writing more than 2,000 words would take me forever. So seeing this document with so many words, I'm like, that was not me. It was an out-of-body experience. And so I reread it, and I remembered my dream and my journey that I started in high school. And when I read it again, I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. I was like, I can't believe I did that. So I continued my book. But I wasn't thinking about publishing, it was only about finishing the book. And so when I did finish the book, it was Ramadan, and that is when I had my family read it, and they said, this is really good, I think you should start the process of querying. And that's when I did, and I queried agents that put an emphasis on diversity. They even said, like, we want books from like Muslim authors, from different people that are not represented in the publishing industry. Like, those are the people that I really went after, because they spoke to me. They said, we're looking for your book. And I'm like, they're looking for me. And that really made me excited. So those are the people that I queried, but rejection. I was left unread. Some people didn't even answer back, but I got rejected a lot, and it was a hard pill to swallow, because those people would say things like, I'm all for representation of Muslim women in literature, or this book has a great premise, or I love Alia, she's an amazing protagonist, and this is an interesting book, but I'm not the right person to publish this, or I'm not confident in my abilities to sell this work. And so I was just getting a lot of like, it's not you, it's me type of rejections, and that really shocked me, because these were the people that were saying, I'm looking for your work. So getting rejected like that, wow. If it wasn't Ramadan, honestly, I feel like it would have hit me harder, but thankfully we were in the holy month of Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, I was able to take that, but that really ignited my journey of realizing that when they say diversity, it does not mean diversity in the way that we think we do. The publishing industry, when the publishing industry says diversity, they mean diversity in an acceptable box that they prescribe. You get it? It's like, we only want, if you're gonna be a Muslim author, we only want these type of stories from you. And a lot of the stories that you'll find, it's heavily emphasized of the character's religion. And it's all about the struggle. It's all about the hardships. You can't just be Muslim and go about your daily life as a human being, So when I realized that the publishing industry's definition of diversity wasn't the definition that I know, or we think to be, is when I realized, I didn't take matters into my own hand. And that's when Abaya House came together and started the process of publishing this book and bringing it to life. Here's the book. As you can see, this is the book. Yeah, I know you're probably wondering, like, what in the world brought these two together? Like, what could have happened in this story that got a black Muslim girl and a KKK member squaring off like this? I know you're wondering, like, there's a lot of thoughts going through your head, and if you want those questions answered, you can find this book on Amazon, Race to the Finish Line. Just gotta type it in, Race to the Finish Line. It will pop up, and all of your questions will be answered. And I hope that you have a good read, and this book inspires you.
Remember, this little home, a dream was brewing, a light was flickering.
News, it is 10 minutes now before 8. Four Somali Canadian sisters started their own publishing company right here in Edmonton last summer. Abaya House aims to better represent diverse voices in storytelling, and in March is publishing the first young adult novel written by one of the sisters. Two of the sisters, Juweria and Aisha Yusuf, join me now. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, Mark.
So what can you tell us about Abaya House? Juweria, maybe you can start.
Okay, so Abaya House started unofficially 2 years ago when we started working on the manuscript that Aisha completed. So it became official over the summer of 2020.
We started our own thing because first we read Aisha's book. You know, she finished the book and she said, guys, I finished the book, read it. And I remember it is Ramadan 2019. And we all read it and we were shocked how good the book was, you know, and it was right up our alley. We all love mystery books, we all love YA novels. So when we read it, we were like, this is gonna be the hit, you know, this is gonna be fantastic. And that was around the time when she started the querying process. So we were like, this is gonna be amazing. So we had great expectations. She started the querying process and then slowly she started getting the rejection emails, rejection. But we had great expectations for this book. We were like, you know what, let them reject it, but we will do whatever we can to get this book published. That's how we came together. Like, you know, let's try to do this ourselves, not knowing what was going to be ahead of us, but we started. I remember that we were in the process of editing the book. I think maybe the second run through, the third run through, and the book was really shaping up. It was coming from a manuscript to a legitimate book. Originally it was supposed to be self-published, but then we're like, you know what, we may run into this problem again for our future books. Why don't we just make it a publishing company? Like, we start our own publishing company, and that way we also start publishing our own books when the time comes. So we obviously fell in love with the idea. We're like, okay, yay, publishing company. Then I remember it was like a week of just coming up with names. And I think what was important for us is we wanted to showcase our Somali nimo, our Somali identity, and we wanted to capture the family essence, the sisterhood essence. And so we kind of played around with a bunch of concepts, with a bunch of words, and then one day I remember it was May 26th, it was a Tuesday. I remember everybody was just doing their own thing, and then the name came. And it was like, guys, what about Abaya House?
Fun fact, you were the one.
Yes, I was the one who came up with the name, and I remember all of us screaming and we're like, oh my god, it was perfect, because Abaya is a Somali word. Abaya means sister. It's an endearing word, like you say it to someone you have, you know, love for and care about. And then, you know, a house, because we literally did this entire process in our own home. So it was like, it had so much meaning. The name Abaya has so much meaning to us that it represented everything we were in that moment and everything we could be. So it was, I remember that was a highlight. I literally wrote that date down, and it's like the birthday, the inception of Abaya House. So that date will always be special, May 26th, Tuesday, 2020. Assalamu alaikum everyone, you just finished watching chapter 1 of our digital storybook. So inshallah chapter 2 is coming up, but before you see chapter 2, we need you to first subscribe and comment and like and turn the notification bells on. Yeah, you need to do all of those things, so inshallah when we release more videos, you know when the videos are dropped, and you can continue watching our digital storybook. So thank you and have a blessed day. Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you. Stop. Let's do another one.